Hi everyone. For my project, I picked the history of Pennsylvania elk. The title that I picked was The Elk Herd. There's also a picture here that I took from Elk County. Once again, the reason why I picked Pennsylvania elk to do my project on is because my family has a cabin where the elk are located. I also wanted to find out more of how the elk got to Pennsylvania. I also find it interesting that elk roam freely through the woods and fields of Pennsylvania. There's a place called Benezet that you can go see the elk at a viewing point. My family has a cabin close to Benezet, and when we go up there, we can see elk roaming along the roads and people's yards. For my research question, I picked, were and are people affected by the introduction of elk? Here's a short clip of elk. So as you can see, there is elk in the person's yard. So here's a couple photos. This middle one here is my family's camp. The one on the left here is another picture of an elk with its horns. And another one to the right, the elk roaming through the woods. Here's a picture that I found. This was taken at Kettle Creek State Park. The first one is elk in Pennsylvania. So the eastern elk once lived throughout Pennsylvania. Rapid settlement, however, accompanied by logging, farming, and regulated hunting, led to their decline. By 1869, elk had disappeared from the state. The animals that live here today are descendants of 177 Rocky Mountain elk, introduced by Pennsylvania Game Commission between 1913 and 1926. Although they at first, the state allowed hunting, their numbers declined, and the state curtailed elk hunting after 1936. So here is the elk range of Pennsylvania located. And then now public lands like this viewing area are being managed to attract elk. So an elk monument. So this picture just talks about the spring, summer, fall, and winter and how the elk look. This says right here, the Shawnee called the elk Whoopatad that means the white rump. So the tail is white of the elk. And then there's an annual event. Each spring, bulls shed their antlers and the cycle begins again, growing as much as an inch a day. Even the largest rack of antlers will be to its full glory before fall mating season. And then when we go up to camp, people are trying to find these elk sheds to collect. And then here's also a picture of Looks Good. So elk are attracted to this place. It appeals to them because it offers what they need. It's an excellent elk habitat. There is water and space. Each bull needs around 20 square miles to stay healthy. A mix of forest and meadow provides shelter and food. An adult elk eats as much as 22 pounds of food per day. And also pictured here is other habitat animals in the Elk County. So my primary source was called The History of Pennsylvania Elk. It is from the Pennsylvania Game Commission. And then other sources I have were a bunch of pictures like I shown you in the video. So what is my source? It's the pictures and then the website. So the pictures are from Kettle Creek State Park, Pennsylvania Game Commission, DCNR, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. So the pictures were put up for people visiting the state park. And then the website was the Pennsylvania Game Commission, History of Pennsylvania Elk by Joe Kozak, Wildlife Education Specialist. And then for my research question, I found the answer to it on the website. And then one way I connected my project to from the class is rationalization. I picked this because the elk came to Pennsylvania and now there's a special place called Elk County. There is a famous viewing place called Benezet. When the elk first came to PA, people wanted to hunt the elk, leading that to almost killing all the elk off. Now at Benezet, you can pay to put your name in a drawing and win the drawing so you can shoot an elk. and then people travel all around the world to see the elk, and then the elk travel around through several different counties in PA. And then that is all I have for my project. Thank you.